Hello, it's me again. I'm Nafid. In this short video, we'll talk about Iris and some of these its features. We'll talk about the concept, what Iris is about, be familiar with Iris, how to create sites, design groups, and so on. How to add copy-paste devices, how to add devices, how to connect devices together, and the concept of layers and views in Iris, and how to produce a bill of material. This is to show you how to build your first probably Iris site and so on. So let's have a look. Welcome back. Iris introduction. So what is Iris in simple terms? It's a tool to create network diagram, kind of design tool if you like, and produce a bill of material. It's not Aruba, it's not HPE, it's not Cisco, it's not Meraki. It's available to manufacturers, resellers, distributors, so it's not available for general public. For HPE partners and employees, they can have access to that, and it only works on Windows, or it can be on a virtual machine. So basically, it can work on non-Windows only in a virtual environment. It means it's only Windows-based. Software. Now, when you download Iris and you install it, it will take a bit of time to download the catalog, if you like. So probably first time you log in and you download and you get that, it takes probably around 15-20 minutes to download all the catalog. It depends if you are using multiple vendors. Like in this example, we are using, I'm showing you here in this example that we have Extreme, Fortinet, Cisco, HPE, and so on and so forth. So that's the start page, if you like, and that's when you download. That's the catalog of things available. It depends on which vendor you are adding, basically. Now for the price list, there will be, you can add any vendor being supported, like in this case. You will only get the price list for those vendors who you are partnered with. But you can add vendors even without price list. So if you have a multi kind of vendor design, then you have add multiple vendors. You can then connect them together and you have all these devices available as well. You can add even non-defined, if you like, a third-party device that is generic ones like router, firewall, switches, and so on and so forth. For the GUI interface, you can clearly see this is, you can configure, you can customize this interface. That's an example of a site here. And on the left hand side, you can see catalog, advisors, templates. You can search multiple things. Now, the first thing in Iris, of course, when you start Iris, it will, if there's any significant update, it will update. So it will give you a prompt to, do you want to update? You might want to say yes. So in that case, you get update. Now, when you first start, you need to start with a new project. Of course, when you have installed Iris, you will have done all settings like which country you belong to, price list, and so on, power supply, some other details, if you like, location and look and feel of Iris tool, and so on. Here, we can start a new project by clicking on the new. Or we can go for the new express mode. Doesn't ask you for many questions, but obviously if you need to have a control over details, you'll start with a new project. So here, for example, in a new project, you give it a label for the project. In this case, because this Iris was installed initially for United Kingdom, UK, sterling pounds, and I haven't provided any coordinate. But you can also change these values. You can make changes here as well if you would like to. Once you create the project might consist of one or multiple sites. So the first thing you're going to create is a site. Once you create a site, then you are able to create multiple sites even in this case. So a site is where things are located. And once you create a site, you'll find there's a site tab in here. And the start page is kind of a summary of all files open, some other descriptions. Topology would show you the world map. We're going to see it. So the site, simply speaking, is where the devices are located. To create a site, you are in the world map. As you can see, you can zoom in, zoom out, and you right click, you create a new site. That's a site was created in this case. So the site is kind of empty sheet. You double click on the site and that will give you an empty sheet. Now in the site you can add things, of course, this is where you do everything. You design your basically your devices, your switches, your access points, your connectivity, your design group, your layers, everything in the site. Now you're on the site, there's something called design group. So these design groups, simply speaking, are a logical, if you like, grouping of devices. Because imagine if you have multiple buildings, you might have, say, design group per building. You might say this design group name is building 1. In here, I showed you an example of a two design groups. One called building 1. Actually, there are 4, but 2 of them are visible. Building 1, floor 1, IDF, and so on. You can add a design group by right-clicking on the empty place or empty space on the white sheet here, and you can add a new design group frame, or you can go to design and create design group. Now to add devices and drag them into a design group, simply speaking, you can highlight, so you can have like hold the left mouse button and drag it on devices you wanted to select. So now you have selected, like in this case, we have selected 2 devices, and we can right click on them and then set design group. Or otherwise you can also highlight the devices and drag them, but we need to hold the shift key first. So the shift key, while you are dragging devices, they will move into the group and you will see the edges of the group glowing. So for example here, this is a device like an access point. I can hold the shift mouse button and drag it into this design group. Notice the edges of the design group is glowing. Only then you can release. Right, so that's the design group. Now inside the design group, any design group, you can right click and double click on it if you like, and you can see a list of design groups that you have in here. Now you can edit, change the name, or you can double click on it, takes you to the properties menu, or here you can control the style. So would like to display label, you can say yes or no. Label, in details of the label. Frame, what does it mean? What kind of color? Fill color. We might change the color. By default it's no fill or white color. You can do this. And the line color, also can select the line color and the style of the line. So is it solid, dash, dotted, and so on. The other thing is the line width. So the thickness of the border of the of this design group. Now, would you like to make a corner radius, or is it going to be square? By default square. Here the radius we said 10. So that, in a few things that you can make modification. And in the style here, you can use this as a default format for the new group, meaning when you create a new group, that will be the same default format. So I might say, okay, default format for the new group, and we're going to try this one, and we're going to say okay. Now let me right click here, a new design group frame, and this say test 1, and there we go. You see the same style as this one, the same style exactly as this one. You double click on this one, and that's the one. That's the one with the same style, and you can look at things like in display label. Again, you can look at the position of the label, outside, at the bottom, inside by default, and you expand the format. Use this one as a default if you would like to. The other thing is you can, if you like, no fill color, so this just remove the color as we said, and that's what it is basically. The style, and we have the margins here, display and automatic size. This is something here you can also check here, automatically size for exact fit. By default it is not, so in here we're going to say yes. So what I mean by this, I'll show you what I mean by this. So in this case, like this one, look at this, as we expand, the design group moves. As we shrink, design group makes it smaller. Default behavior is not this. So default behavior of the design group is not to do this. So if I click on this and say, okay, as I expand, expands, if I go back, it doesn't shrink. That's a default behavior, right? So this is something you can modify. Of course, it's not a good idea to shrink with the devices, so you have more neat or neater design in this case. Now, if you like to add a device to design Iris, if you like canvas, if you like, simply speaking, you select which device you would like to go for. So here we are looking for HPE networking, and then you go to the device. You can double click on it, or you can drag it if you would like to. Now each device has properties. Of course, you might have a model that might have multiple different options within the model itself, and that will give you in the properties menu, they will give you the option for this. Look at this. If you scroll down, you will find there are multiple options available. In this case, you can definitely select the model you would like to select. Like in this case, we have added 6300 switch, and now you can see there's a lot of options available. You can select whatever option you like. Now, in any switch, you will add, probably there are slots, and these slots might have, module, or it can be transceiver. So a slot, if it is larger one, we put a module, and each module has ports. Or a port that is like for fiber connection, you'll have to have transceiver. So eventually you'll have a cable. So the cable might go to a transceiver, that goes to a port, that might go to a slot. And by default, if you have a switch, then you have a simple RJ45-like interfaces. These don't need any external slots or transceivers in this case, but you can select whatever you add in. Like in this case, in this type of switch, we have SFP 56 ports. So these are ports, 4 of them. In here, you select the transceiver that goes into that port. It can be a DAC cable, it can be whatever. So these are the ports, and you select the type of transceivers, so the fiber cable connects to them. Now, in this case, in the transceivers, if you have a modular larger switch, so basically the switch can be modular switch, or the switch can be fixed port switch with some ports that needs transceivers, or it can be modular switch that has line cards, we call them modules. In this, we have like in multiple slots that you can fill. Here, so slot 3, we have inserted a module. Notice this is a module. And once you insert a module, it will give you the option at the top. You will have that module has what's so-called ports. These ports are empty ones. These ports are empty ones. And then in this example, you will select what transceivers go into these ports. On the same basis, you can add access points, of course, and you can add gateways if you like. Now, when you see red, it means, the red means not enough power, or the power supply is not enough, or maybe not all of them are connected. Maybe some of them might have power, some of them might not have enough power. Now, rather than, like in this case, we might need 10 of those. We might have, there's a feature called multiple or quantity multiplier. We can say this specific access point is not only 1, 10 of them. I can have 10 of them next to each other, but imagine if you have 100 in your design. How would you going to fill it out? It doesn't look neat and doesn't make sense. So they have introduced the concept of the sync, set sync, and the multiplier in this case. Basically, this to make it easy when you connect and you try to provide power over Ethernet, you then say, okay, I would like to power all 10 devices. So these 10 APs will become powered. That's, of course, a gateway or controller 7210. Now, you see it red because I have not selected any power option. So you need to select the power option for this, the code, the type of cable. If there's any external power supply that you need for this, for any device, if it is supported, then you also provide. To connect devices is very simple. Simply speaking, you can have the connection tool, and you select one device, you drag there, of course, the mouse and highlight the other device. There will be red square or rectangle, and then you pick up the number of access points. Like in this case, we have 40 of those. If I need to power the 40, I will select 40. Now, this is simple, showing to you a simple way to connect devices. I can create multiple sites, as you know. So simply speaking, you just create a new site as you had created the old site. Now, I can produce connection between different sites. So maybe sites are connected. Yes, you might not be in charge. It's not part of your bill of material, but you might want to show connection on the map. And simply speaking, the reason for that, because when you go inside the site, we have created connection that has no business to do with us. Maybe some providers externally will connect these sites, but internally, when you go inside the site, you're going to see a link. On site 1, you're going to see to and from site 2. On site 2, you're going to see to and from site 1. So you have connection here. You will connect the site. Now, again, as I said to you before, you might have errors here. If you have not enough power to push to these devices, then they would be red. Or there's no power supply to this device, again, it would be red. Or if there's a power supply incorrectly done in your settings, or you have not selected the power supply for your project, then that would be also red. Again, not all of them are powered, or maybe one of them or multiple, or all of them are not powered. In IRIS, we can produce, of course, bill of material. But before that, I would like to show you different views that you can always enjoy different views within IRIS. In this case, so you can display the view you would like to. So for example here, you click on the view menu and you can switch view. Now you might want to say, okay, how much power do I need and how much power consumed? This is called power overlay. So that tells you exactly what is required and what is supplied and what is left. So this is power consumption on this switch 603 watts. On this, the need power consumption on this and these guys would be 369, and in this case, the power consumption for this would be 201 for the other two. So this is when you click on view, switch view, and so on. You can have multiple different views. You can have wireless view as well. That shows you how the wireless look like. So as if kind of virtual site survey, DBM, it shows you, and here at the bottom you control what is the minimum signal cutoff, or the maximum, or the minimum requirement for you, if you like. So what's the weakest signal that you think, after which I consider no signal. So that will give you a handy tool. And here you can see the radius that you would like to turn off, for example, at the top here, or turn on. So that's another view. You can have different types of views as well. Now, bill of material, you can always produce bill of material. That will be greatly, very handy. So click on the pound sign or whatever currency you are in. In here, because this is based on the sterling pound, and then that produces a bill of material. I can also, this is for site 1. If you have multiple sites, you have the selection of multiple sites, and also you can filter. So you click on the filter tab. That will enable you to filter based on certain parameters. So you can filter and see subset. Maybe I have 10 buildings. I would like to see building 1, how much the equipment in building 1 cost. Maybe the data center, or the data center, how much does it cost, and so on. So you can break it down into multiple different parameters where you can filter based on these parameters. You can always export, obviously, based on whatever needs are, basically. So you can export to Excel or some other format if you would like to do so. Going back to views, so I can go view, and I just go normal view, block view. Now what I can do, I can create layers. So click on here. Let's say I would like to create a layer, and we call it building 1, floor 1. And I would like to add a building to that, or some devices, or maybe some design group to that layer. So what I do in this case, I can select one or multiple if you would like to, and then you right click and you can go and set this set layer membership. Click on it, and in this case we have added it to that layer if you would like. So you might say, okay, this is in 2 layers. If I click OK and I go here and I double click on this, I say, okay, hide this and only show devices in this layer. And I can say, okay, now you can see the focus only for those devices in that layer. You can clearly see the focus is on these devices that are on this on that specific layer. You can view, of course, multiple of them if you would like to do so. So thank you very much. In this video we have talked about introduce you to the concept of iris. What does it mean? What is it used for? How to add devices, how to copy them, how to paste, how to connect devices. It's a very simple introduction, but at least you get your head around the concept and you understand the menu. You can explore more options if you would like to. I'll see you in future videos. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you very much.